Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Rupinder Kaur Chawla with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Mauritian counterpart Pravind Jagannath jointly inaugurate new Supreme Court building of Mauritius. India-Mauritius special friendship based on deep-rooted cultural linkages, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. COVID-19 recoveries surpass 10 lakh mark in the country. Recovery rate improves to 64.43%. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan says country has been successfully fighting COVID-19 pandemic. Tamil Nadu government extends lockdown in the state till August 31st. And Yes Bank takes possession of Mumbai headquarters of Anil Dhirubhai Ambani Group for default in repayment of loan worth 2,892 crore rupees. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India's relationship with partner countries is based on principles of mutual development and trust. He said India never commits into any relationship considering the financial implications or profitability. Prime Minister Modi was speaking today after jointly inaugurating the new Supreme Court building of Mauritius with his Mauritian counterpart Pravind Jagannath. The inauguration took place through video conference in the presence of senior members of judiciary from Mauritius and other dignitaries from both the countries.
History has taught us that in the name of development partnerships, nations were forced into dependence partnerships. It gave rise to colonial and imperial rule. It gave rise to global power blocks and humanity suffered. For India, the most fundamental principle in development cooperation is respecting our partners. That is why our development cooperation does not come with any conditions. It is not influenced by political or commercial considerations.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the government and the people of Mauritius for effective management of containment of the global pandemic in the island country.
I congratulate the government and people of Mauritius for effective management of the COVID-19 global pandemic. I am happy that India was able to support this effort through timely supplies of medicines and sharing of experience.
The Prime Minister hailed India's special friendship bond with Mauritius and termed it as one which is based on deep-rooted cultural linkages. Speaking at the occasion, Mr. Modi reiterated India's commitment to the vision Sagar, which was enunciated by him in 2015. Sagar, which stands for security and growth for all in the region, is India's high-level articulation towards his vision of participatory developmental works in the Indian Ocean.
It was in Mauritius that I had first spoken about India's vision of Sagar, security and growth for all in the region. This is because Mauritius is at the heart of India's approach to the Indian Ocean region. And today, I want to add that Mauritius is also at the heart of India's approach to development partnerships.
The Prime Minister underlined that India's developmental goals are human-centric and the nation always strives to move along with all its partners on the trajectory of growth. He mentioned India's efforts in many countries towards development of modern infrastructures and amenities, including the Parliament building in Afghanistan, Mahatma Gandhi Convention Centre in Niger, ambulance services in all the 9 provinces of Sri Lanka, medical emergency services in Nepal, among others.
If India is honored to help in the Parliament building in Afghanistan, it is also proud to be associated in the making of Mahatma Gandhi Convention Centre in Niger. We have been happy to help Nepal improve its health services through construction of an emergency and trauma hospital. And we were similarly privileged to support Sri Lanka's efforts to establish emergency ambulance services in all 9 provinces. Our development partnership reflects the development priorities of our partner nations.
Hailing India's developmental works in Mauritius, including the newly built Supreme Court building and the recently initiated metro rail project and state-of-the-art hospital in the island country, Prime Minister said these projects will further strengthen the bond of cooperation between the two countries.
Today, we celebrate yet another landmark in the special friendship between India and Mauritius. The new Supreme Court building in Port Louis is a symbol of our cooperation and our shared values. Both India and Mauritius respect our independent judiciaries as important pillar of our democratic systems. This impressive new building, with its modern design and construction, is a mark of this respect. I am happy that this project has been completed on schedule and within the initial estimated cost.
Quoting Mahatma Gandhi, Mr. Modi said, "Humanity is placed at the core of India's patriotic feeling." He said India supports global friendship and the tenets of mutual respect, care and sustainable development. He asserted the country firmly believes in both human development and care for the environment. The Prime Minister highlighted the major initiatives, including the International Solar Alliance, as new efforts to push sustainable growth. He affirmed that the relationship with Mauritius is bound to soar higher in the coming years. Prime Minister of Mauritius, Pravind Jagannath, speaking after the inauguration of the newly constructed Supreme Court building, said, "India has always been helpful in development goals of Mauritius." He said under Prime Minister Modi, the bond between both the countries has strengthened to new levels. Mr. Jagannath thanked India for the support towards completion of major developmental projects in the country. He also remembered Prime Minister Modi's pledge for Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas or Sabka Vishwas. The Supreme Court building has been constructed with Indian grant assistance of $30 million and has been constructed under the India-assisted infrastructure project in the capital city of Port Louis after the outbreak of coronavirus. It is also one of the 5 projects been implemented by India in Mauritius under the Social Economic Package.
India achieved a remarkable feat today by surpassing more than 10 lakh recoveries from COVID-19. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said a total of 10,20,582 people have recovered in the country so far, and 32,553 recoveries have been reported in the past 24 hours. With this, the recovery rate has improved to 64.43%. The case fatality rate of coronavirus has further declined to 2.20% in the country. The Health Ministry today said maximum number of 52,123 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country in one day, taking the total number of cases to 15,83,792. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 5,28,242. In a single day, 775 deaths have been reported, taking the nationwide toll to 34,968. Meanwhile, the Indian Council of Medical Research said that a total of 4,46,642 tests were conducted by various laboratories in the past 24 hours. So far, 1,81,90,382 tests have been conducted in the country. At present, 1,321 laboratories across India are conducting COVID-19 tests that include 907 government laboratories and 414 private laboratory chains. More from our correspondent.
The central government, in collaboration with the states and union territories government, has adopted the strategy of aggressive testing, tracking and treatment to deal with COVID-19 pandemic. Effective containment strategies and clinical management protocol have improved recovery rate and reduced mortality rate. In terms of recovery rate, Delhi stands at top position with 88.99% recovery. Ladakh, Haryana, Assam and Telangana are other top performing states and union territories wherein the recovery rate is above 74%. 16 states and union territories have better recovery rates than the national average of 64.43%. Maximum number of people have recovered in Maharashtra, followed by Tamil Nadu, Delhi Delhi and Andhra Pradesh. There are 29 states and union territories which have lower mortality rates than the national average of mortality rate of 2.20%. In the total active cases, more than 69% caseloads are from Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. Bhupender Singh, AIR News, Delhi.
The recovery rate of COVID patients in Delhi has further improved to 88.99%. It continues to be the state with highest recovery percentage in the country. The city recorded recovery of 1,126 patients in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of recovered patients till date to 1,18,633. A total of 1,035 new confirmed cases of coronavirus were reported in the national capital during the last 24 hours. With this, the total number of COVID cases in the city has reached to 1,33,310. The Delhi government confirmed that 26 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total to 3,907. The national capital is also witnessing a decrease in the number of active corona cases gradually, and with a further decrease of 117 such cases, the total number of active cases stands at 10,770. With increased testing, the city has achieved the remarkable mark of conducting 52,327 corona tests per million of its population.
In Gujarat, 783 patients have been discharged from various hospitals after recovery during the last 24 hours, as the recovery rate has further improved to 73.06%. A total of 43,195 patients have recovered in the state so far. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
According to the State Health Department, 1,144 new cases have been reported in the state yesterday. Total cases in the state have gone up to 59,126. 24 patients have lost their lives yesterday, taking the total death due to COVID-19 in the state up to 2,396. More than 7,13,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date, out of which 22,914 tests have been carried out during the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation has added 22 new areas in micro-containment zone, while removed 14 areas from this list. Yogesh Pandya, Air News, Ahmedabad.
The count of COVID-19 patients in Maharashtra showed consistent rise, with the tally crossed 4 lakh mark yesterday. Till date, Mumbai was leading the tally. However, since the last few weeks, the COVID scenario in the metropolitan city has showed improvement. The city has been observing fewer deaths and more recoveries. Also, city's COVID-19 case growth rate has considerably declined, while the case doubling rate has gone up. However, the situation in other cities and big towns like Pune, Sangli, Nasik, Kolhapur is still grim. Hence, as an emergency step to prevent and contain the spread of COVID-19 across the state, the government has decided to extend lockdown restrictions till August 31st. Details in this report.
Under the new guidelines announced by state, malls and market complexes will be allowed to function from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. from August 5. However, theatres, food courts, restaurants, indoor gyms and swimming pools will remain closed. Further, the night curfew will remain in place across Maharashtra despite the centre doing away with it. Besides, large public gatherings and congregations will continue to remain prohibited. The state has allowed permission for outdoor non-team sports like golf courses, outdoor firing range, outdoor gymnastics, tennis, outdoor badminton with physical distancing and sanitation measures from August 5. On overall guidelines, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray at weekly cabinet meeting yesterday told the ministers that he preferred a gradual and calibrated process of reopening. CM Thackeray has reached Pune to take overall stock of the COVID-19 situation in the district. Nivedita, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Tripura, the state government has extended the statewide complete lockdown for another 5 days till 4th of August. Chief Minister Biplab Kumar Deb said if continuous lockdown is not enforced, then it would have no meaning. Mr. Deb appealed to the people to maintain social distancing, wearing masks and hand washing. In Mizoram, 3 fresh coronavirus positive cases were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 398. 17 patients recovered from the infections yesterday. According to the official statement, 215 patients have been discharged after recovery. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Mauritian counterpart Pravind Jagannath jointly inaugurate new Supreme Court building of Mauritius. India-Mauritius special friendship based on deep-rooted cultural linkages, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. COVID-19 recovery surpassed 10 lakh mark in the country. Recovery rate improves to 64.43%. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan says country has been successfully fighting COVID-19 pandemic. Tamil Nadu government extends lockdown in the state till August 31st. Yes Bank takes possession of Mumbai headquarters of Anil Dhirubhai Ambani Group for default in repayment of loan worth 2,892 crore rupees. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan today said the country is effectively dealing with the COVID-19 situation and progressive increase in the recovery rate and reduction in mortality rate is an example of this success.
आज दुनिया में सबसे बेहतरीन रिकवरी रेट 64% से ज्यादा और सबसे कम फैटेलिटी रेट 2.2% के करीब भारत का है। एक लेबोरेटरी से शुरू की हुई यात्रा को हम 1300 से ज्यादा लेबोरेटरीज तक पहुंचा चुके हैं।
While launching the compendium on CSIR technologies for COVID-19 mitigation, the minister said the country has been successfully fighting a war with COVID-19 pandemic since the last 6 months. The minister said more than 1,300 laboratories are conducting COVID-19 tests across the country. He said more than 13 to 14,000 dedicated COVID health centers have been set up in the country and more than 14 lakh beds have been arranged to fight this pandemic. He said India is one of the 5 countries in the world which have successfully isolated the coronavirus. Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yedurappa laid the foundation stone for tunnelling work for Phase 2 of the metro rail work between Cantonment and Shivajinagar in Bangalore today. Phase 2 includes a total strength of 72 kilometers with 61 stations. More from a correspondent.
The 72-kilometer-long Phase 2 Metro Line project consists of 13.9 kilometers of underground corridor with 12 underground stations and 10.37 kilometers of twin tunnels. The Phase 2 will be built in 4 packages at a cost of 30,695 crore rupees. The line will greatly reduce travel time and ease traffic congestion on Bengaluru roads. The Chief Minister has informed that Phase 2 will be ready by 2024. He also informed the central government approval is awaited for a metro line between Central Silk Board Junction to Kempegowda International Airport. The project cost for this line connecting the international airport is 9,934.58 crore rupees. Mr. Yedurappa said under the Smart City program, 36 roads with over 28.56 kilometers are being developed into smart roads at a cost of 456.5 crore rupees in Bengaluru. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
The lockdown has been extended in Tamil Nadu till the end of August. The State Chief Minister, Edappadi Palaniswamy, has said in a statement in Chennai, there will be full lockdown on all the Sundays in the month of August as it happened during July. There is no change in the restrictions on public transport including air and rail services. However, there are few relaxations from the existing lockdown as well. A report from our correspondent.
Outside the containment areas in Chennai, industries and offices are permitted to operate with 75% of the staff, which was earlier restricted to half the strength. Dine-in facilities in hotels remain barred. Places of worship can open only in rural areas with annual income of less than 10,000 rupees. Provision and vegetable shops have been given an additional 1 hour from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. to run their businesses. E-pass is necessary to travel from one district to another. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
In Madhya Pradesh, Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan's health is now better after corona infection. He is doing administrative work from the hospital and taking meetings of officers through video conferencing. At the same time, MP BJP President B.D. Sharma has also been infected with coronavirus.
4 ministers, 6 MLAs and many functionaries of political parties have been infected so far in Madhya Pradesh. Meanwhile, the number of infected cases in the state has increased to more than 30,000. At the same time, the death toll due to infection has also increased to 844. According to the State Health Bulletin, 591 coronavirus patients were discharged from hospitals yesterday, as a result of which 20,934 people have become healthy in the state so far. There are now 8,356 active cases in Madhya Pradesh, while the number of active containment areas are 3,191. On the other hand, in the worst infected Indore, the district administration has given permission to open all shops for 5 days from today in view of the upcoming festival season. However, the curfew will remain in force on Sunday, August 2nd. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of the leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, Dr. Nand Kumar, Professor of Psychiatry, AIIMS, suggested people to stay at home, spend time with family members and practice yoga.
Stay at home, spend time with the family, do household works, exercise, listen to music, sing with the family, do yoga, meditation and take care of emotional need of the family.
COVID-19 may increase the risk of blood clots in pregnant women or in those taking estrogen with birth control or hormone replacement therapy, say scientists. Researchers, including those from the Tufts University School of Medicine in the US, said that the female hormone estrogen also increases the chance of blood clots during pregnancy and in women taking birth control pills or hormone replacement therapy. The research published in the journal Endocrinology said if infected with COVID-19, the risk of blood clotting could be even higher, and these women may need to undergo anticoagulation therapy or discontinue their estrogen medicines. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal today said the government is aiming to cover nation's length and breadth in optic fibers within the next 2 years. Mr. Goyal said digital is the way forward. Inaugurating CII National Digital Conference on Ease of Doing Business for Atmanirbhar Bharat, the minister emphasized that slowly but surely, single window concept will be achieved. He urged both industry and government should work as partners, and industry will have to play a proactive role in helping government identify the tax evaders.
Private lender Yes Bank has taken possession of Reliance Centre, the headquarters of the Anil Dhirubhai Ambani Group ADAG, situated at Santa Cruz in Mumbai, for default and repayment of dues worth Rs 2,892 crore. In an advertisement published in newspaper yesterday, the bank had informed that it has also taken possession of 2 floors in Nagin Mahal in South Mumbai, which was its erstwhile headquarters. Yes Bank said it had sought to recover dues of Rs 2,892.44 crore from Reliance Infrastructure on May 6 and took possession of the 3 properties on July 22nd after a failure to repay even after 60 days of the notice. It cautioned the general public not to deal with the properties, adding that any dealing with the properties will be subject to a charge of Yes Bank for an amount of Rs 2,892 crore. The Rajasthan High Court will today hear the petition challenging the merger of 6 MLAs of Bahujan Samaj Party with Congress. The petition filed by BJP MLA Madan Dilawar will be heard in the Court of Justice Mahendra Goyal at 2 p.m. today. In a related development, Assembly Speaker C.P. Joshi has also challenged the decision of the Rajasthan High Court in the Supreme Court, in which it had directed to maintain the status quo in the case of 19 rebel MLAs of Congress. More from a correspondent.
Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot today held a meeting with the supporter MLAs to discuss further course of action. On the other hand, preparations have also started for the assembly session. This session is important in many ways, where it is to be decided whether the government has a majority or not. But before the session, a decision can come from the High Court about the merger of 6 MLAs of BSP with the Congress. At the same time, the Supreme Court verdict may come on the SLP of a speaker related to 19 rebel MLAs of Congress. Rebel MLAs of the Congress can also make their stand clear in the coming days. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
The Jairam Thakur-led Himachal Pradesh cabinet expanded today with the induction of 3 ministers. Those inducted as cabinet ministers are Sukram Chaudhary, Rakesh Pathania and Rajinder Garg. Governor Bandaru Dattatreya administered the oath of office to the new ministers at an event in the Raj Bhavan following COVID-19 protocols. Union Home Ministry has issued new guidelines for opening up of more activities in areas outside the containment zones. The process of phased reopening of activities has been extended further in Unlock 3, which will come into effect from 1st of August. The new guidelines issued yesterday are based on feedback received from states and union territories and extensive consultations held with related central ministries and departments. Activities in the containment zones shall be monitored strictly by state and UT authorities, and the guidelines relating to containment measures in these zones shall be strictly implemented. The Health Ministry will monitor the proper delineation of containment zones and implementation of the containment measures. States and UTs, based on the assessment of the situation, may prohibit certain activities outside the containment zones or impose such restrictions as deemed necessary. However, there shall be no restriction on interstate and intrastate movement of persons and goods.
Diesel in Delhi will be cheaper. Delhi government has reduced VAT on diesel from 30% to 16.75%. The decision was taken following a state cabinet meeting. The cut in VAT on diesel would reduce the price of the automobile and industrial fuel in Delhi to 73 rupees 64 paise. The price of diesel will come down by 8 rupees 36 paise per litre in the national capital. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal announced that the rate of VAT on diesel was being brought back to 16.75% from 30%. Mr. Kejriwal said the move as a significant step to bring the economy back on track. Khadi and Village Industries Commission KVIC has received a purchase order from Indian Red Cross Society IRCS to supply 180,000 face masks. KVIC has said the masks for Red Cross will be made of 100% double-twisted handcrafted cotton fabric in brown color with red piping. KVIC has specially designed these double-layered cotton masks for the Indian Red Cross Society as per the designs provided by them. The supply of masks will begin by next month.
Now let us take a look at today's weather update. The national capital Delhi may experience generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The minimum temperature is recorded at 26 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 34 degrees. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The city experiences a minimum temperature of 26 degrees Celsius and will have a maximum of around 28 degrees. In Chennai, the temperature will hover between 29 and 38 degrees Celsius. The city will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells or possibility of rain or thunder showers. The city recorded a minimum temperature of 26 degrees Celsius, while the maximum temperature will be nearly 33 degrees. In Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum will be around 34 degrees. In Srinagar, the temperature will hover between 18 and 32 degrees Celsius. The city is expected to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Ladakh will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Gilgit, the minimum temperature is recorded at 17 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 33 degrees. Muzaffarabad may face generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The place witnessed minimum temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, while maximum temperature will be around 32 degrees. Guwahati is expected to have generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers. Chandigarh will see generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Dehradun will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Hyderabad will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 33 degrees. Bangalore experienced a minimum temperature of 21 degrees Celsius, and the maximum is expected at 26 degrees. Images of Lord Ram and 3D portraits of the Grand Ram Temple in Ayodhya will be beamed across the giant billboards in the iconic Times Square in New York on August 5th to celebrate the temple's groundbreaking ceremony, with organizers describing the commemoration as a one-of-a-kind and historic event. Prominent community leader and president of the American Indian Public Affairs Committee, Jagdish Siwhani, yesterday said that arrangements have been made to celebrate the historic moment in New York on August 5th, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to lay the foundation stone for construction of the Ram Temple in Ayodhya. Beginning from 8 a.m. on August 5th till 10 p.m., images of the words Jai Shri Ram in Hindi and English, Lord Ram's portraits and videos, 3D portraits of the temple's design and architecture, as well as pictures of the laying of the foundation stone by Modi will be displayed. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Mauritian counterpart Pravind Jagannath jointly inaugurate new Supreme Court building of Mauritius. India-Mauritius special friendship based on deep-rooted cultural linkages, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. COVID-19 recovery surpassed 10 lakh mark in the country. Recovery rate improves to 64.43%. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan says country has been successfully fighting COVID-19 pandemic. Tamil Nadu government extends lockdown in the state till August 31st. And Yes Bank takes possession of Mumbai headquarters of Anil Dhirubhai Ambani Group for default and repayment of loan worth 2,892 crore rupees. And with that, we end the midday news.